Welcome to another edition of the Train Shed. This is a continuation of episode 4 and is all to do with track laying. So, first thing I want to report is I am thrilled to say that my Copydex has finally arrived. It took about 10 days from the date of ordering, and this is not the original one I ordered. Needless to say, and I won't bore you with the details, but whenever you order anything off eBay, as I'm sure you're all aware, please check the seller's feedback rating. This I ordered in good faith, was due to arrive on Tuesday. Saturday came and went, nothing. Decided to send a message to the seller, no response. Thought, let me have a look what's going on here. Check the feedback rating. Feedback score was shocking. Red across the board. Why did I even bother? Waste of time. So, I've requested my money back. Fingers crossed I should get that back. This was ordered from Amazon Saturday evening, arrived this morning. So we'll finally be able to get some track laying. We'll be laying this point today. We'll be sticking down the cork. We'll be sticking down the point. We'll be cutting the hole out for the point motor. And then we'll see where we get from there. I also want to touch quickly on track plan. I've had one or two subscribers ask me about track plan, about single loop, double loop. I have made a decision on what I'm going to do. I'm not going to tell you just yet. I'm going to wait for the track plan episode before you find out. Just mentioning subscribers, thank you to everyone who subscribed so far. It's what keeps me going. It's what makes me want to do these videos. I'm a complete novice when it comes to model railways, railway modelling rather is the correct term, but I enjoy giving anything a go. I love anything to do with wires and cabling and wood and sawing and DIY and all that sort of stuff. I love that. So this is just what I enjoy doing, and if I can make a few videos and help a few people along the way, fantastic. So thank you very much to my subscribers. You guys are what keep me going. So we won't go on for too much longer. We'll get cracking. Next time you see me, we'll have made a start. So, as I've said to you before, this Copydex was highly recommended by another YouTuber as fantastic for gluing down cork and for gluing track down to the cork. It grabs really well, it sticks long, it's difficult to get up, so we're going to give it a go. One thing to note, it absolutely stinks. So if anyone's used Copydex before, you know what I'm talking about, unless I've got a dodgy batch. We'll soon find out. Right, so we've pre-drilled the hole in the last video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill the hole. I'm just going to make sure there's nothing under there, which there shouldn't be, because we haven't got that far yet, although there is something under the board that I'll show you in another episode. So we're going to carefully drill through there. Felt awful. That's the first hole I've drilled through these brand new boards. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. I'll get the hoover around that later on. It's not too bad, it's gone through quite well. He's just given himself a splinter. There's much worse things going around at the moment in the world. So next what we'll do is we'll just line that up with a hole. Perfect. We'll get some Copydex. Now it says, on paper, card and wood, apply to one surface only, press together firmly. On non-porous surfaces such as plastics, metal, cork, fabrics and carpets, apply sparingly and evenly to each surface to be bonded. Allow adhesive to dry until it becomes touch dry, 15 to 20 minutes, then bring together firmly. So it looks like it's a dab of glue, sparingly it said. It's not the most pleasant smell in the world. It's not too bad. No worse smells in the world. So get a good covering. Good covering there. Unfortunately, it doesn't say anything on the bottle about this being toxic, because otherwise I'd be in trouble. Although this shed is pretty well ventilated. In fact, a bit too well ventilated. Although it survived the winter, so that's a good sign. Right, so plenty of glue on there. I'm going to do the same on the board. I'll spread it out fairly evenly. Sparingly, it said, remember. So, again, try not to bore you too much with this. It's not exactly thrilling to watch. Easier to spread on the wood than on the cork itself. Enough. Let's just get the length of that right. So I'm going to come to about there. Take that there. And there we go. So that's the Copydex applied. Lid back on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come back to you in about 15 minutes and we'll stick it together. Okay, so welcome back. So the Copydex is starting to go off now. So I think we're about ready. Yeah, it says touch dry. It's just tacky now. So I'm gonna place that on the top. Oh, I can feel it. It's stuck then, and I nearly couldn't get back up. Lay that down. Make sure it's smooth. And that's, I mean, look at that. That is pretty much, that's rock solid already. That's pretty good stuff. That is good stuff. That is, I'm going to struggle to get that up now, even if I wanted to. That's exactly what we're looking for. So, while you were gone, I soldered some dropper wires onto this point. I'm going to stick a picture up here just to show you what I've done. My soldering is not yet of a recordable quality, let's say, and when it is, I'll be sure to make sure that I record myself doing some soldering. But it isn't great, and I wouldn't want you to be getting into any of my bad habits. So if you're looking for a soldering tutorial at this stage, I say at this stage, I'm not the person to go to, but there's plenty of other soldering tutorials on YouTube. I'm sure you can find one suitable. My soldering's passable, it works, but it's not great, as you can see from the picture I've just posted. So now what we need to do is we need to line up the point on top of the cork. That nest of wires, that's going to be trimmed off when it goes onto the baseboard. I'm going to place it on there, find out where the middle point is. So just where the point blade can be thrown, but it can still be seen through the hole. That's the important part if you're using point motors mounted onto the board. That's the key part. So that's just right there. So what I'm going to do is, using my pencil, I'm going to make a quick scribble where I need my holes cutting for the droppers. I'm also going to make a quick mark as to where I need my hole drilling for the frog. and we'll do some more drilling. Okay, so one there. One there. One there. Yep, that's fine. So then what we'll do is we'll untangle this nest of wires. He says. There we go. We'll talk about gauge of wire and strands and all that stuff in a later video. I've done all my research on wires and droppers and things, but now is not the video to be discussing that. We'll do a separate wiring video. One thing I will say that is important at this stage is when you're putting your droppers on and you're laying your track, make sure that you always keep the right coloured wire on the right side of the board. So my board will always be red on the outside, black on the inside. That's for all rails. So when you're wiring and drilling and gluing or whatever you're doing, make sure your wires are the right way around, because otherwise you're either going to have to take a lot of cable up once you put it down, or it's going to look very confusing when you're fault finding. Just twist that wire to make sure it goes through, which it should do, and it does, lovely jubbly. Right through, like so. Right, to get the frog wire, poke him through as well. I think that's the sound of the battery going on my camera. But it's a good fit, the wires are good, the point still throws in the window I cut, the frog wire's gone through. Job's a good one. All that's left to do now before the battery runs out is to put some more Copydex on the point and glue it down. Wasn't the camera battery dying? No idea what that was. Okay, so same principles are going to apply here, but what I don't think I'm going to do this stage, or I'm going to do very sparingly, is I don't think I'm going to put much glue on the point itself. I don't want to make a mess of the point, especially around the switch blade, because I don't want to glue the switch mechanism. So I'm going to be very, very sparing this time. Just going to put a little bit this end, because I don't need the points to be absolutely rock solid. I'm just going to put a little bit this end, only a very, very small amount across the top end, because I do not want any glue anywhere near that switch blade. Same there, I'm just going to put a bit there. I'm going to leave that whole section around the hole completely dry. Try and get a reasonable amount on this end, because I want it to grab as much as possible, because I don't want it to move. Ideally, once it's down, I want it to stay. What I'm going to do is just put a little bit on there, just a very small amount. Again, don't go anywhere near that switchblade, then we put a little bit on that one there, a little bit on that one there, and that's as close as I'm going to that switchblade, because as I said to you when I put the cork down first, this stuff grabs. It really does. So once this is down, if it's not in the right place, or I've glued the switchblade, I'm in trouble. So there we are. So on the point, on the cork. Now give it 10 minutes and then we'll be back. Okay, so I reckon it's been about 10 minutes now. It is starting to be, yep, touch techie. So now we very, very carefully lower the point in place, not forgetting the frog wire. So that goes through, which it has done. Lower it down, making sure again that the switchblade is over the hole. And press down into place. Switchblade moves. Again, rock solid straight away. Absolutely rock solid. And the switchblade still moves, but there's a blob of glue on there. Let's get that off. You had a dirty old rag around here somewhere. Get that off. Where's that in there? Something in there. Dirt, I think. Nothing that's going to cause any trouble. Okay. So, there we have it. First piece of track glued and laid at the train shed. I think it was pretty successful. Obviously we'll have to wait till the morning until it's completely dry. I will put something on top of that just to hold it down to make sure it doesn't move. And then when we come back for the next episode, we will continue to lay some more track. Now we know what we're doing. We know how the Copydex works. We know how quickly it dries. We know how well it dries. The rest should be relatively plain sailing. So all that's left for me to do is the usual, and that is to ask you to like and subscribe, and please leave a comment, and don't forget to ring the little bell icon so you can get notification anytime I upload a video. And that's all for now. Take care and bye bye.